Welcome back to the Chevrolet World Series pregame show on Fox. Getting ready for first pitch of Game 2 between the Rangers and the Cardinals live here in St. Louis. There's a three-time NL MVP hugging a ALCS MVP, Albert Pujols and Nelson Cruz. Well, the Texas Rangers record has improved in each of the last 4 years under manager Ron Washington. He's a guy who's always smiling, and he's got those sweet feet moving as well. Just ask his players.
He's nonstop. He's nonstop wash. Like, he's 24/7 wash.
I'm just being who I am. I enjoy watching my guys play, and I'm just an excitable guy.
You know, he's in the dugout. He's running with the guys when they're running the bases.
He's over there. He's on the rail. He's getting it. He's got his arm going. Come on.
I think most of the time when you see me do that, I'm back in the third base coaching box, and I just can't get it out my system. So when we get a base hit, I'm whining, and when the third base coach stops him, I say, geez, he could have made it. Not always, though.
You know, you go whole off season without seeing him, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you know, like here comes the laugh.
He's really funny. He come up with stuff that you not expect. It's really fun to play for him.
I like to see good baseball, and they give that to me every night when I watch him play.
He is so much fun to watch. What's your favorite move?
You have no moves. Come on, stop. You have no moves. Come on now.
You embarrassed America. Actually, you were with him out in Oakland, right?
I was. In 2004, I got to know Wash real well. And, you know, he's a people person. He's a motivator. And he's also, he knows the game. He knows the game extremely well. And, you know, nothing was more evident than what he did in the AL Championship Series and how he used his bullpen. I mean, so much has been made about Tony La Russa and what he's done with his bullpen. Wash has done the same thing. Some people question his moves, but the bottom line, he's a no-excuse guy. He's got a saying, a favorite of mine. You do or you don't, you will or you won't. And that's the way he's approaching this series.
He's definitely someone players want to play for. They want to go out there. They want to be excited. He makes them excited. You can tell his enthusiasm. He just wants to be out there. He still wants to be coaching third, and players want to play that. He gives you confidence. He gives you energy, and that's something you need as a player every day.
Well, tonight, Ron Washington hands the baseball to his veteran right-hander, Colby Lewis. And this guy has been nails the last 2 years in the postseason. 4-1, ERA under 2.5. Meanwhile, Jaime Garcia very comfortable here in the friendly confines in St. Louis. 9-4, an ERA of 2.55 during the regular season this year. Now, AJ, you're a guy that has faced Colby Lewis. What do you expect tonight? I
expect him to be good like he's been his whole postseason career. One thing about Colby Lewis you have to understand, he's not an uncomfortable bat. He's not a guy you go up there and say, oh man, I had no chance today. He's got to make his pitches. He's got to use his slider, and he's got to throw balls that are just above the zone where they look like, man, I can crush this ball, and you just pop it up or hit a little fly ball. So he's one of those guys that was drafted by the Rangers in 1999, had a few detours, went all the way to Japan. Whatever he learned in Japan, I want to know, because he came back a better pitcher and a better player. So he's got to be able to establish his slider. You saw the strikeouts there with sliders. If he does that and throws that ball just high enough where guys can't hit it, he's going to have a good game.
You want to come back as a better pitcher?
Absolutely. They get paid way better.
Well, Garcia, on the other hand, he's going to have to keep the ball down. He's a guy similar to Lewis in that, you know, he's not an uncomfortable at bat. He doesn't have dominating stuff. But when he gets the ball up, he gets into a lot of trouble. You see Ryan Braun taking him deep right there. Prince Fielder, I'll wear one right there. Ricky Weeks, a shot. Notice everything, though, is up in the zone. If I'm the Texas Rangers and I'm going into that batter's box, I'm going to stand up there. I'm going to make him get the ball up. If it's strike one low, I take it. Strike two low, I'll take it again. Make him get the ball up, take the ball the other way.
All right, guys, before we get out of here for the night, predictions. What's going to happen? You said this game very important for the Texas Rangers. How do you see it playing out?
I think Texas wins this ball game. I think they're going to come out and swing the bats a lot better than they did last night, score some runs, put some pressure on the Cardinals.
I agree. They need Michael Young and some of these other guys. They've really struggled against lefties. I think Texas finds a way to finally get hot, win a game against the left-handed starting pitching, and Josh Hamilton and Michael Young. Come on now, I need you guys.
Very quickly, in 15 seconds, anybody surprised Josh Hamilton still batting third tonight against the left-hander and with all his struggles?
Absolutely not. He's their guy. He's the MVP last year in the American League, and He said, Wash said it in the last series. He's not going to move Michael Young. He's not going to move Josh Hamilton now.
Yeah, no excuses, as Wash said. And hey, you can use that phrase. You do or you don't. You will or you won't.
I love it. I love that phrase. You got to motivate us each and every show with that one, EK. Very good. All right, we'll see you guys for the post-game show here on Fox. Coming up right now, it is time for the playing of the national anthem as we get you ready for Game 2 of the World Series between the Rangers and the Cardinals. Here is John Hewlett.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps for our national anthem. Performing tonight's anthem is country music star, 4-time Grammy-nominated artist, Trace Adkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Just about ready for baseball in St. Louis. Coming up, Game 2 of the World Series. The Rangers looking to get even. The Cardinals trying to win it home sweet home. First pitch around the corner. Welcome back to the Chevrolet World Series pregame show on Fox. Almost time to see if the AL champs can even the best-of-7 series at a game apiece. The Texas Rangers take on the St. Louis Cardinals on Fox. Time now to send you upstairs to the broadcast booth. Hello, Joe Buck.
Hello there, Chris Rose, and hello to everybody out there watching Game 2 of this 2011 World Series. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming right up. Well, coming into Game 1 of this series, all anybody was talking about were the playoffs and all the runs and blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be the year of the pitcher, and yet last night we kind of went back to the old way of playing baseball, old meaning during the regular season. The St. Louis Cardinals did a lot of little things right, Tim McCarver, to win Game 1 here last night.
Yeah, power can be mesmerizing, and I think what last night's game showed is that baseball has a way of getting back to showing people how and why you often win games. That's with pitching and defense. Anticipate the same type game tonight in the cold weather. Tony La Russa, however, reminding us that when these two teams go to Arlington, watch out. They're going to put a lot of runs on the board in the warmer climate.
It is not as cold as last night, 50 degrees. The wind is whipping around this stadium. And guess what? There's no rain in the forecast. Hallelujah. Tonight it's Colby Lewis, the right-hander, taking on Jaime Garcia, the lefty, for the Cardinals. The Cardinals have won 10 World Series championships and featured some of the greatest players to ever play the game. But sometimes it's not the men that will one day have statues erected in their honor that are the heroes in October. In 1964, it was a young catcher that supplied some extra inning heroics. 1982 saw an unlikely World Series MVP in Darrell Porter. In 2006, it was the little guy, literally, who was the hero. Last night, another unlikely player made his mark in the Fall Classic. Who will be the hero tonight? It's Game 2 of the World Series on Fox. The World Series is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance and by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. You have to. You just must. And Jaime Garcia is ready to lead his team out onto the field. And the Cardinals up 1-0 in front of their home crowd. With 46,406 packed into this third version of Busch Stadium last night to watch Game 1. Tonight's opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Clydesdales were here earlier, that hitch. And back in the day, Gussie Busch used to ride around on that hitch and wave to the fans. And now it's Jaime Garcia getting ready to go in the Rangers starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Pick outside the bunt. Ian Kinsler leads it off. He's at second. Elvis Andrus is hitting second and short. Then it's Josh Hamilton, Michael Young, Adrian Beltre. Nelson Cruz is in right. Mike Napoli hits seventh again. He homered last night. Craig Gentry gets the start against the lefty. Garcia and Colby Lewis pitching and batting ninth. And the guy that has all eyes on him, number 54, and he is 25 years old, Jaime Garcia.
Rangers' plan tonight is to make Garcia not only throw strikes, but high strikes. Weiss said Texas must bring him on the plate. He gets a lot of outs on balls that are off the plate. Hitters are too aggressive with him. Electrifying changeup, a good curveball, a cutter, and in double play situations will throw the two-seamer.
Home plate umpire is Greg Gibson. He is joined by Alfonso Marquez at first. Ron Kolpa is at second. Ted Barrett is at third. Gary Cedarstrom down the left field line, and Jerry Lane, who's the crew chief, is in right. Ian Kinsler is leading off in this lineup, and it is a group of 9 hitters who have never faced Jaime Garcia, not even for one at bat.
Usually when that happens, the pitcher has the advantage.
And off we go in game 2. Strike one. Kinsler had 2 hits last night, and he has 13 this postseason. Just under 300. Breaks his back. Tests for Cobb. Has a good arm. 1 out. Well, you know, for Cobb is at short. There are no surprises defensively. Same in the outfield as last night. Holiday, Jay, and Bergman left to right. Freeze for Kyle, Punto, Pujols. Same group as game 1. Yadier Molina does the catching. And Jaime Garcia is the second Mexican-born starting pitcher to start a World Series game, and the first since 1981, when the great Fernando Valenzuela beat the Yankees with a complete game in game 3 as a rookie, a 5-4 win.
That was after the Yankees had won the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium, a series won by the Dodgers.
And you remember that season when Fernando burst onto the scene through shutouts in 5 of his first 7 games. And Fernando Mania was born. Strike one on Elvis Andrus. Here comes a 1-1. The opposite way. Pujols stabs it, goes to the bag. 2 out, and we go down to Ken Rosenthal for more on the history with Garcia and Fernando.
Well, Joe, they actually met at Dodger Stadium last year, and now they are joined in history. And as you said, it was 30 years ago when Fernando had that complete game victory against the Yankees in the World Series. And how many kids in Mexico must have grown up like Jaime Garcia wanting to be him?
Thank you, Kenny. Reynosa, Mexico is where Jaime was born. And he was actually born 5 years prior to Fernando bursting onto the scene. As Josh Hamilton digs in with 2 out, nobody on. Here's a 1-0 from Garcia. That misses 2-0.
The reason that Fernando Valenzuela won only 13 games that year and was Rookie of the Year, however, it was a 51-day strike in 1981. So an unusual season, unusual pitcher.
And these are unusual swings from Josh Hamilton. He just does not look right.
No, he doesn't.
And if he's got that strained left groin, that's that power leg with his swing, and he looks like he is a little off balance when he's taking these hats. That's ball 3.
Well, what happens when you have something wrong like that? You try to rush your hands. You bring your hands out front. And the 2 elements of hitting, one of which is to wait.
And he trades in a bat for an out. And that big number 3 presence of Josh Hamilton still without a home run this postseason. And it's a quiet top of the first for Garcia. No score, bottom half, game 2. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by Toyota. There is Furcal ready to go. Here's the Taco Bell starting lineup. Think outside the bun. The Cardinals have just one switch from game 1, and that is Berkman and Holiday flip-flopping. So it's Furcal, Jay, and Pujols. Berkman cleans up. Matt Holliday, David Freese, Yadier Molina, Nick Punto, and Jaime Garcia. A good hitting pitcher against Colby Lewis. And I know he got the loss in that ALCS, but I think the Rangers are excited with the way Lewis has been throwing the ball. And we'll see how he gets along here tonight.
3-0 in last year's postseason, 1-1 this year. A fly ball pitcher. That's why he's starting in game 2 and none of the games in Texas.
It's tougher to pitch in that smaller ballpark where the ball jumps, and Arlington had a 5.5 ERA at home. An ERA under 3.5 on the road. And that kind of moving swing, half bunt, whatever you want to call it, strike 1.
There are other teams that have complained about Furcal being out of the batter's box when he does that, and is very, very close to being in fair territory.
The 0-1 from Lewis is outside, a ball and a strike. Here's that first attempt.
Running up, thinking he's going to bunt. That's very, very close to being in fair territory should he have made contact.
Reaching for it and into center for Gentry. 1 out. And let's give the Tim McCarver scouting report on Colby Lewis.
You know, you talked about Colby Lewis being 2 runs better on the road, about 3.5 on the road. A fly ball pitcher, another reason why Ron Washington would rather start him here. And his success, it's that deep slider. I mean, really deep. It breaks late. It's very difficult to pick up, particularly for right-handed batters.
Throws a ton of first pitch strikes. Number 2 in the major leagues in that category as he misses. Ball 1 to John Jay. There are the splits, the home and road for Colby Lewis. Here's a 1-0. Off the hands, a ball and a strike. Talked about it during the ALCS, but if you're just seeing Colby Lewis, realize he was the 38th overall pick in '99, came up in '02. Had a tear in his rotator cuff, and it's been a long road back. That is a foul ball. Just before it got to the bag, and that's all Beltre could hope for, and it went foul.
It took about 87 feet for this ball to go foul as the bag comes into the picture. There. Grab it, Adrian.
And they count 1 and 2 on John Jay. Just to finish on Colby Lewis, he spent 2 years in Japan. Came back to the team that originally drafted him, and he has settled in as a dependable starter that will give you 200 innings a year. Still 1 and 2.
You've heard stories about pitchers going to Japan, but usually they don't return to the major leagues.
Here's a 1-2. Skips in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The regular season won 14 games. And he is so far the only Texas starter this postseason. And here they are in the World Series to turn in a quote-unquote quality start. 6 innings pitched with 3 or fewer runs allowed, which makes guys who played in the 60s sick to their stomach. Here's a ground ball to first. And out at first is John Jay. 2 away, and here's the journey of Colby Lewis. Mentioned he was drafted by the Rangers in '99. He went to Detroit, had a torn rotator cuff. He went out to the A's for a brief while, Kansas City, and then all the way over to the Hiroshima Carp for 2 years, and then came back to Arlington and pitched last year when he was 12-13, but 3-0 in the postseason, as you said. With 2 out, nobody on, he will deal with Albert Pujols. We'll get a chance to involve Kenny Rosenthal during this at bat. These fans gave Pujols a long standing ovation here at the end of September on the 25th against the Cubs, thinking might be the last time they see Pujols in a home Cardinal uniform. They've had many more at bats since as he pops it into right center field. Park will hold it. And we will hold off on Kenny as we go to the 2nd inning here in game 2. Each pitcher a perfect first. All zeros in game 2. Major League Baseball is proud to support Habitat for Humanity. Visit www.habitat.org to learn how you can get involved today. Beautiful look at downtown St. Louis and the Arch as we go to the 2nd. Garcia back to work. Strike 1 to Michael Young. Only because I'm not very smart. I want to go back over something I said in the 1st inning. And that is that Garcia was born in '86. That rookie year for Valenzuela, a guy who he looks up to in 1981. So it was actually roughly 5 years after that season. I kind of reversed the two, but I'm just a sports announcer. So don't expect much.
Not a genealogist.
No. A mathematician or any kind of crazy thing like that. That's ball 1 down and in. 1-2 on Young with Adrian Beltre and Nelson Cruz to follow.
I think more than any hitter on either side, Michael Young is a high ball hitter.
Spoiled that pitch. 1-2.
Uses the other field. And game 6 of the LCS against Detroit, a perfect example. He doubled down the left field line, doubled down the right field line, and homered to center field.
Here's a 1-2. A strikeout for the first of the night for Garcia.
That was a cutter up, and Young missed it. Very impressive through the first 4 hitters is Garcia,
who is 26-15 over the last 2 years. 6th best winning percentage in the National League, and he just was rewarded with a long-term extension during the regular season. Here's Beltre, strike 1. Garcia, 22nd round pick, 680th overall back in '05. Came up in '08, and then he had Tommy John surgery. Missed '09 and was good last year. Strike 2. That was 3rd last year in the National League in Rookie of the Year voting. This season he's been much better here in St. Louis, and he has back-to-back strikeouts. A good changeup to get Beltre 2 out.
You think about the ways that Garcia has gotten the first 5 Rangers. He jammed both Kinsler and Hamilton in the 1st inning, and getting Young and Beltre on off-speed pitches. Like a curve or a changeup. I think he took something off the breaking ball.
With 2 out. Inside to Nelson Cruz. Last night had a hit.
Finally a single.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cardinals kept him in the ballpark, and they had to be thrilled. That's high and tight. 2-0.
Nelson with 8 hits in the LCS, 6 home runs and 2 doubles.
Talking to any opposing pitcher, they say he's looking for the ball up
and in. Very quick.
2-1.
You notice the Cardinals stayed away from him for the most part last night.
They stayed away from Napoli, and he hit a mammoth home run into right. Here's a 2-1. That's down the left field line, hooking into the corner. Foul.
Rule of thumb in baseball: don't try to jam a hitter with an open stance. Nelson Cruz went to the minor leagues. He opened that stance. They can handle the ball inside. That's why they open up. That was a cut fastball, and on the hands, Cruz extended but hit it foul.
That's exactly the swing that he and Scott Service put together in the minor leagues in '08. He hit .342. The Rangers called him back up. Hit .330, and he's been hitting with power ever since. See if Cruz can get on with 2 out and nobody aboard in the second as he takes up and in a full count. And now the next from Garcia, working fast. Sounded like he broke his bat. Little pop up, and Punto out to grab it. And the first 6 have been retired by Garcia. For the 3rd out in the first and in the second, a broken bat. After an inning and a half, no score. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And up above on a beautiful night, little windy. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Lance Berkman, Matt Holliday, David Freese. Middle 3 in the lineup against Colby Lewis, who had a perfect first. Cardinals have hit .284 as a team this postseason. Berkman's brought that average down a bit, hitting .262, but last night had a big 2-run single. Down the right field line, batting right-handed. As he fouls it away, he prefers to bat left-handed. One of the better switch hitters in the history of the game. The Chase Freedom cashback player to watch, Lance Berkman. The difference in the power numbers this year while batting from this side of the plate. 28 of his 32 home runs. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. That ball will get out of play, and it's an 0-2 count.
We talked to Lance at the All-Star game in Phoenix this year, and he responded to some criticism that he had in Houston about not being in shape. And he said, you know what? This is what it boils down to. If you hit home runs, you're in shape. If you don't hit home runs, you're a little heavy.
And he's out in front and hooks this one foul. He actually said fat.
Yeah, he did.
You were kind of PCing it for us.
Well, you got to editorialize occasionally.
I didn't mean to expose you. He has really changed the feel inside that Cardinal clubhouse. First of all, he's had a great year.
Well, he's funny, too. He's a funny man.
He taught himself to switch hit as a kid, and he nicknamed himself, I'm always wary of that, Big Puma. Here's an 0-2. Did you ever nickname yourself anything?
No, I had enough people doing it.
Like Hans McCarver?
Well, no, Buckethead or Jughead.
Because of the size of your cranium.
Correct. Close to an 8.
You and I are good partners. We relatively look normal next to each other on camera. That's out number 1. And a good pitch down and in from Colby Lewis. And a strikeout starts the bottom of the second.
A good changeup used to good advantage to get Berkman.
With 1 out, it'll bring in Matt Holliday, who is hitting .407 since the start of the NLCS. Colby Lewis has been hitting his spots. He's been impressive through 4 batters. Cardinals have gone 214 plate appearances since their last World Series home run. That includes tonight. You have to go back to Game 1, the 2006 World Series at Detroit. Pujols went deep. That was a good pitch. Called ball 3-0.
That was a good pitch that Pujols hit that night. We were there in Detroit. Home run to right field.
1 out, nobody on. Here's a 3-0 to Holiday. 4 straight, a 1-out walk. And Holiday is Game 2's first base runner of the night. It'll bring in local hero David Freese, who went to Lafayette High School in Wildwood, Missouri, about 30 miles west of here, but it's considered St. Louis. He went to a community college, Merrimack, and then the University of South Alabama, a guy who quit the game of baseball altogether after his senior year at Lafayette. And as he told us before last night's game, he was at Mizzou, joined a frat, and was going down the wrong path as he hits one off the end of the bat into center for Gentry. 2 out. David woke up in his sophomore year one day and said, I got to get my life back on track. I've got to get back to the game of baseball. And that's when he basically recruited himself to play at Merrimack, and here he is in the World Series playing for his hometown team.
Yeah, we were kidding David last night before the game and asking him if he basically signed himself. He kind of giggled and said, well, yeah, I guess you could say that.
His parents, Guy and Lynn Freese. We have some family photos, some kid photos from David's childhood that we'll show you before the end of the night. Here's Yadier Molina. Took one outside, ball 1. Strike 1.
That was a slide step used by Colby Lewis. When a pitcher picks up his leg, obviously it takes more time to get it down. Easier to run on that pitch. So Lewis mixes that in, that slide step toward home.
With 2 out again. And this one on the outside corner, strike 2. Number 8-man Punto on deck, but a 1-2 count on Molina, who has 46 career postseason hits. Pitch was up. Molina fouls it back. Still 1-2. His tattoos on the neck of Yadier Molina, new for 2011. There is where Yadier ranks for, remember, there are more rounds now than there were for a guy like Yogi Berra, which makes his 71 among catchers in postseason history all the more impressive.
Remarkable. Yogi Berra, I mean, you look at his numbers and what stands out as much as the hitting, the few strikeouts that he had. He averaged about 14 strikeouts for 6 years from 1951 to 1957. That's 14 a year. Remarkable.
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
And he honed those skills on the hill here in St. Louis. Holiday gets back.
Growing up, of course, with Joe Garagiola in the same block. Joe Garagiola Jr. had a long chat with him yesterday before the game.
Works for MLB as Molina chased it up and away, and a good start for Colby Lewis. Cardinals strand their first. Into the 3rd inning we go. Game 2. Still all zeros. A live look at downtown St. Louis, and the World Series is sponsored by Happy Feet 2 from Warner Brothers Pictures, in theaters November 18th. Busch Stadium all lit up, the arch in the foreground, and we move into the 3rd inning with Napoli, Gentry, and Lewis against Garcia, who has not allowed a base runner. The guy's been hitting .370 since the 4th of July. As he saw fireworks, his season took off. He went deep last night. So that averaged the best across baseball. On the the inside corner from Garcia. 1 ball, 1 strike. Do you like what you see from Garcia?
Oh, I'll say he's getting through the first 6 hitters. He's getting hitters out in different ways. He's jamming some, change up for others.
That bounces in, ball 2. This will be the 28th pitch of the night. With a watchful eye of Dave Duncan. Hard hit, right at Freeze. 1 out. Napoli is just hitting bullets everywhere, and this one was right at David Freeze.
That was a slider down and in, and Freeze dropped to the left knee to make the play.
Brings in Craig Gentry, who is hot as well since the 9th of September. Guy's hitting .390, except he's had a tough time cracking this lineup. It's the guy he battles for playing time, David Murphy, has been just as hot. Pinch hit last night, struck out. So 0 for 1 in this World Series, ball 1 high.
If you're a platoon player, it's tougher when you're a right-handed pitcher because you're only playing against left-handers, and there are fewer left-handed pitchers in the game than right-handers.
That's a little high. It's 2-0.
I guess the moral of that story is, Mom and Dad, don't let your son grow up to be a right-handed hitter.
Here is a 2-0.
All out.
It's outside. 3-0.
Make him a lefty.
There's David Murphy, left-handed hitting outfielder and a good player. Here's a 3-0. 3-1, the old automatic. Gentry during the regular season hit .271. 1 home run, 13 RBIs, and Ron Washington put him in the lineup tonight. He taps to Freeze. 2 out. So with a pitcher coming up, 2 out, nobody on. We'll tell you more about the city of St. Louis. You know about Anheuser-Busch Brewery, largest beer producing plant in the U.S. Gateway Arch, the tallest man-made monument in the United States. Did you know that the city hosted the first U.S. Olympic Games in 1904, where the ice cream cone and iced tea were invented? The 04 World's Fair. Residents consume more barbecue sauce per capita here than any city in America. There's ball 1 low to Colby Lewis.
Last night, most of the crew and I dined on toasted ravioli, also a St. Louis original.
Off the end of the bat for Kyle, has plenty of time and a good arm. That's a good combination. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd. They also have these big horses with big feet and hair around their feet. They're called Clydesdales. No score after 2.5. Colby Lewis has been just as good as Garcia. Now he goes into the 3rd inning. Punto, Garcia. The pitcher then for Kyle. He has walked 1, struck out 2. And Nick Punto is first up. He had a hit last night, 1 for 2. That's what he's done this postseason. Tony La Russa toyed. Strike 1 hits the inside corner with putting Schumacher in the lineup tonight, but Schumacher was not a part of the NLCS roster, had a strained oblique, and he didn't want to put Skip at second base. So Punto's had some good at-bats, made all the plays defensively, and the former Twin, who Tim learned from a good one in Ron Gardenhire with a Minnesota Twin. The Minnesota Twins gets the start here tonight. Here's a 1-1. Ball 2.
Ron Gardenhire was the 3rd base coach for Tom Kelly when Tom was the manager for the Minnesota Twins. In fact, Tom Kelly was the manager his first year as a manager with Minnesota when the Twins beat the Cardinals in the '87 World Series.
Here's a 2-1. Just in. The count goes to 3-1 on Punto.
Close.
That's our unofficial look at the strike zone here at Fox. And from a close pitch on 2-1 to a 3-1 ground ball off the bat of Punto, and here is Mike Maddox, pitching coach for the Rangers, and we asked him first about if he liked what he was seeing out of Colby Lewis tonight.
But yeah, so far he's got 4 pitches per strike working. He's mixing it in and out, up and down. So, you know, he's doing everything he can to keep him off balance, and that's what he does when he's at his best.
Mike, the first time I asked you about Colby Lewis, you said check his heart, not only his arm.
Yeah, he's got a lot of courage out there. You know, here's a guy that couldn't pass most physicals, you know, and he goes out there and gives us 200 innings over the course of the year. He's been a big game pitcher in the postseason, and you just can't measure how big his heart is and how big his courage is when he goes out there.
We just saw your catcher walk past you. Napoli's been some kind of find for you guys here in 2011.
I tell you what, between him and Torrealba, they've really stepped up and been the anchor of the pitching staff. You know, you guys have a big comfort zone when they throw to him back there, and Knapp has really excelled here at the last second half of the season.
Hey, Mike, thanks for your time. Good luck.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. We mentioned it during the ALCS. This guy is one of the best pitching coaches in the game. For 8 years was in that position with Milwaukee. Now he's in his 3rd season with Ron Washington. And that is a smart family. Not only was his brother Greg Maddux a great pitcher, but one of the smarter guys that you would run across, talking through at bats and thinking ahead of the hitter just about every time he faced somebody in a big spot.
One of your lines when Mike Maddox or Greg Maddux was pitching in the postseason was, don't ever play poker with him.
Oh. Well, he grew up in Vegas. The guy said he knew exactly what you had in your hand.
Wear you out. And I would imagine Mike's the same way.
2-2 on Garcia, and if you've watched those swings, you know he can handle the bat. In fact, La Russa bunted runners up in the NLCS to get him into scoring position for Garcia. He flies it into left for Hamilton. Just back. 2 out. We'll bring in Rafael Furcal. There are no hits yet. The last time a World Series game went hitless through 3 was in '98. We were there with the Yankees at the Padres, and that was a 4-game sweep.
Nada.
With 2 out, Furcal stepping up in the box again, takes a strike. And now a ball. Mentioned this is the 54th career postseason game. It's short for Furcal. It's 5th all time. He's now ahead of Phil Rizzuto again with more opportunities, with more rounds. Jeter is number 1 with 152 postseason games at short.
He'll try it.
And he will make it. It's a 2-out double for Furcal, the first hit of the night.
From nada to la línea. A rope to right. Sometimes the outs dictate how you run the bases. With 2 outs, there is no doubt Furcal is going to try to go to second, and he makes it.
What a pickup. What a difference maker Furcal has been. This was a very bad defensive team here in St. Louis. Bad on the infield, and this is a pitching coach in Dave Duncan that preaches pitching to contact. And they were kicking the ball all over the place earlier in the year. Furcal has helped solidify that defense.
That's why it's remarkable that the Cardinals are in the World Series. They were bad on defense until the All-Star break or until the deadline, and bad in the bullpen. Those 2 areas, you can't win that way, but La Russa has.
To the right side, that will end the inning as Young goes to the bag. And defensively, the Cardinals have made only 4 errors this entire postseason. Some images from Game 2 here on a chilly night in St. Louis after 3. Rangers and Cardinals, no score. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto. And by Chase. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. Nice night. Good pitching again here tonight. As the top of the order will bat for the Rangers, that means Kinsler, Elvis Andrus, and Josh Hamilton against Jaime Garcia. Last night's starter and winner Chris Carpenter is with us from the corner of the dugout. Carp, what is it like the night after you get a win, pitch as well as you did? It's got to be a satisfying feeling in the World Series.
It is. It's exciting to get that first game, but obviously tonight's a big game for us too. I think we win tonight. It puts them in a hole that going into their place where they obviously play really well. It would be great to get this game tonight.
Here's a pitch that misses down and in. 2 balls and a strike. Tell us about that play and that dive at first base last night. You ever done that before?
No, I haven't. I don't know what happened. Albert led me a little too much, and just instinct. I jumped out and grabbed it and knew I was going towards the bag, so I was hoping for an out there. Unfortunately, I was lucky I didn't get stepped on by Elvis.
Yeah, you ought to thank him maybe with a note or something.
Yeah, I thought about it. I thought about it. He could have easily ruined my night, but he didn't.
What's not going to ruin your night? Peacock Bass in December.
I hear you. I can't wait for that. Hopefully we can go there with a ring and have some fun, catching some bass down in Brazil with Doc.
Yeah, Doc, you're going to go with Roy Halladay, who you beat in Game 5 of the division series. Is that going to even come up when you guys are fishing?
I'm not sure. We'll see what happens when we get down there. I'm sure that we'll have some sort of competition on who catches the biggest fish, though.
You're going to be in Brazil.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be great.
You live big.
Every once in a while.
Hey, what should we look for out of Garcia tonight so far? And I know he just walked the leadoff man. What do you look for in the dugout?
He's just going to stay consistent with his command, and those things there is what you're looking for. You don't want him to start losing command of his fastball, because when he does that, that's what gets him in trouble. He's got a devastating sinker that he can throw down the middle of the plate, and it moves so much. He gets a lot of ground balls as long as he keeps it down. And you just hope that his command of his fastball doesn't go anywhere.
Hey, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you doing it, and congratulations on last night.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Carp.
All right, take care.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Andrews shows a bunt, takes a ball low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Not a bad idea by Ron Washington, playing for 1 run. The problem with that is Josh Hamilton has not been swinging the bat well. We talked about his first at bat. Sore groin.
Counts 1-1 after that leadoff walk. No score here in the 4th. Good pitching. You took note of what Ron Washington told us before the game, that Garcia is tough to run against. That's their scouting report, because he hangs that right leg in the air, so it's tough to get a jump.
Yeah, normally hangers from pitchers are bad things. Wash calling the right leg a hanger, because when he brings it up, he kind of holds it there. You don't know whether he's going to home or first.
That a little quicker, and that bunt was foul tipped into the glove of Molina. Strike 2.
He rushed that delivery. That was far from the hanging right leg. Of course, with all the scouts around, by the time these teams reach the World Series, they know pretty much everything a pitcher, catcher, hitters have to offer from their scouting system.
The Cardinals were so far out of it that while the Rangers and other Phillies, other teams that knew they were going to be in the postseason, started scouting other teams, the Cardinals got a late break and didn't really have anybody watching other teams much in September.
Once again, 10.5 back on August 25th.
Here is a 1-2 pitch to Elvis Andrus. Blocked by Molina. 2-2.
I think Lance Berkman's a little too deep in right field. Elvis Andrus is not a guy who hits a lot of balls hard the other way. He has no power the other way. Only 5 home runs on the year. A lot of singles. So you try to take that away from him, the opposite field.
And a little floater into right, and here comes Lance Berkman right on cue. But he had time, and that's out number 1. That's why you win Emmys over there in the corner. Josh Hamilton now 1 on, 1 out. Stop it. Here's another fact, World Series fact. Second series where both games 1 and 2 were scoreless through 3 innings. Last night, it happens here tonight. Go back to 1961, Cincinnati and the Yankees, and that's ball 1 to Josh Hamilton, who has not been able to really drive into a pitch. The guy who broke the news about the injury, Ken Rosenthal, is standing by. There's a 1-0. That's a strike. Ken, you got more on that sore groin.
Yes, Joe, I spoke with him today, and Josh said that he spent part of the day tinkering in the batting cage, trying to figure out ways not to use his lower half when he swings. And that's obviously not the preferred way to hit, but he says he has enough upper body strength to drive the ball even in that regard. Now, he says it bothers him most on check swings and when he is running. So you will see him perhaps ease up on the bases a little bit so he can go all out in the outfield.
He just flips it into left, doesn't carry it all, and that's out number 2.
Boy, it is very difficult to hit when your lower body, when you can't generate any power from the lower body. We talked about rushing the hands and a one-handed swing, and we've seen that 3 times in the last 2 nights.
Garcia also had him off balance, and now with 2 out, sure he's getting frustrated. Michael Young has had a rough postseason except for that big game 6 in the ALCS. He drove home 5. Digs in. He struck out his first time. He's hitting under 200 this postseason. Time called as Garcia was just staring at Kinsler, who led off this inning with a walk.
There's that hanging right leg.
That slows down a big part of the game for the Texas Rangers, their running game with their top 2 hitters. Meanwhile, their 2, 3, and 4 hitters this series, these are big names, big bats, especially the back 2, 0 for 16 with 4 strikeouts combined. Off the end of the bat, that ball will drop in center. It's a base hit, and it's first and third, 2 out. John Jay played it on a hop, and here is a scoring chance for the Rangers in the 4th inning of game 2.
John Jay initially was very, very deep in center field, had a long way to come for this ball. Good play on the short hop. At least he holds Kinsler to third base. You can see how deep Jay was. It's almost like he was in a no doubles defense, something you can understand with the go-ahead run on first base and 2 outs.
And now Adrian Beltre with a chance to put the Rangers on top. They have not led in this series, and that's ball 1 high. They fell behind last night. 2-0 in the 4th, tied it in the 5th, trailed 3-2 in the 6th. That's how it ended. Michael Young and Albert Pujols talking about hitting over at first. Here's a 1-0. Beltre hits his runner, Kinsler, right in the helmet. He's in foul ground, and he looks to be okay as he gets up with a smile on his face.
And then brushing off his shoulder.
Oh, it got him on the shoulder.
It did, and he just kind of flicked it off. But this, again, is why base runners lead off in foul territory. If that ball had hit Ian in fair territory, the batter would have been out and credited with a base hit.
Here is a 1-1 now to Beltre. Up high. Beltre had good swings here last night. He doubled, singled, and a bit of a controversy with 1 out in the 9th inning. Fouled one off his front foot. Went as the 2nd out. Not called a foul when it actually caught a piece of his shoe. Here's a 2-1. Instead, a check on Young, who's about 3 inches off the base.
Joe, I'd like to correct myself. I said the batter would be out, the runner would be out, and the batter credited with the base hit.
Here's a 2-1. Down and in on deck is Nelson Cruz. Jaime Garcia in his first jam of the night. See if Beltre gets something to hammer here with a count 3-1. Full count. Runner at first will go. 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Garcia into and out of trouble. Rangers get their first hit, strand their first 2, and after 3.5, no score.
The World Series on Fox.
Celebrate America's game with Chevrolet. Upload a picture of your youth player and you could win tickets to World Series games among hundreds of other MLB prizes. Be a part of the Chevy Centennial celebration and enter for a chance to win at ChevyBaseball.com. Heart of the order for the Cardinals. No score. And a strike hits the inside corner to Pujols. Pujols, Berkman, and Holiday against Colby Lewis, who's been very good. Gave up a double with 2 out last inning, the only hit. That is hard hit right at Beltre, who is a vacuum with a great arm. 1 out. Chevrolet's national support for baseball is extensive on and off the field. They're proud to present the Roberto Clemente Award each year. The player who combines a dedication to baseball and to the community. Prior to the game tonight, Chevrolet presented David Ortiz of the Red Sox as the 2011 Roberto Clemente Award, and after getting that award, a couple of friends from the Dominican Republic originally get together along the first baseline. Here is one up the middle. Kinsler can't make the pickup cleanly, and safe is Berkman with 1 out.
I think that's going to be a hit. Too tough a play for Ian Kinsler. Berkman just beating it. By the way, with David Ortiz winning the Roberto Clemente Award, that's the first positive thing that's happened to the Red Sox since August.
Well, there's no doubt. And those are 2 free agents to be, by the way, Albert Pujols and David Ortiz. Berkman was safe at first. It's an error.
Oh, an error.
On Kinsler, that's his first of the postseason.
That's a tough play because he couldn't field the ball on the dirt. He had to field it on the infield, on the outfield grass.
Here is Matt Holliday, who walked his first time up. 1 on, 1 out. A big swing, strike 1.
That's a deep slider we were talking about in the scouting report. Watch the late break. Just enough to have Holliday swing through it.
Matt walked back in the second. That's in front of David Freese. And he's in the hole 0-2. Just to finish for Ortiz, he had 309, 29 home runs, 96 RBIs, and people thought he might be finished 2 years ago, and now he rolls into free agency with big numbers, back-to-back good years.
To his credit.
There's some talk that the Yankees might be interested in bringing Ortiz to the Bronx to be their DH. Here's the 0-2. Inside. Ball 1.
Not every pitch is designed to get a hitter out. Sometimes you show him the fastball inside to go back outside. You could pick it up. Just watch Napoli and see where he sets up.
Way outside. The ball came back over the plate and Holiday fouled it.
That was a mistake right there. Napoli wanted that pitch out off the plate. Chad came back over the middle when a catcher moves about 6 inches with that glove. That often is bad news for the pitcher. Slider.
Holiday was in the World Series in '07. David Ortiz and the Red Sox took care of Colorado 4 straight. So he gets another crack at it in the Fall Classic. And he's 1 for 4 so far. 2-2 the count here.
Throw over, I believe. That's a flip. That used to be the sign for a knockdown pitch. Not that catchers ever gave that, of course. No. Slider.
On 2-2. And should be. Nicely played. How about that? What a play by Elvis Andrus, and then a bare hand for me and Kinsler. That was beautiful. Those two are so good up the middle. No score after 4. Game 2 in St. Louis. Back after this from your local Fox station. All the stories tomorrow will be about how good the starting pitching has been here tonight. Really last night to start this World Series after a bucket full of runs in the LCS. Garcia back for the 5th. He has allowed only 1 hit. He's on as he faces Nelson Cruz. He has that easy delivery, and then the ball jumps in on hitters. Get a real good read on pitches. Good low, tight breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cruz, then Napoli, then Gentry if anybody gets on the pitcher. Colby Lewis. That's outside. Ball 2. Same spot, 3-1.
Dangerous pitch, dangerous situation for Garcia and the Cardinals. You do not want to come inside when Cruz is looking inside. Too dangerous.
Well, Cruz light up another pitch, and instead it's middle away, and it's a full count. A foul. They're calling him out on a swing and a miss. The focus went to the edge of the dugout. It's 1 out. He missed it. Thought he may have tipped it, but he missed it. And then a nice bit of work by a fan in that front row, just knocking this bat down so that it didn't end up getting deeper into the seats and saving maybe that little girl who was left.
Well, whether intentionally or unintentionally, Garcia playing on Cruz's aggressiveness out of the strike zone to get the strikeout.
A good breaking ball from Garcia after his 4th strikeout. Garcia's made some pitches, and he's made them behind in the count.
Yes, yes.
Napoli hit a rocket to 3rd his first time up. 1-1.
That's one of the big differences in good pitching in the major leagues and good pitching in the minor leagues. In the minors, you get fastballs and fastball counts. In the big leagues, you have to be able to throw breaking balls.
Here's one into right, and Berkman a stutter step, 2 out.
In those same counts.
Well, this week it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Beginning with the Falcons heading to Detroit. Good game. Redskins, Panthers, Bears, Bucks in London. And the Seahawks facing the Browns. Then it's America's game of the week as NFC rivals collide with the Packers taking on the Vikings. Are the Rams and the Cowboys. So it's St. Louis and Texas in baseball and football. Coverage begins with a Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. In at the knees to Gentry, strike one.
I would say it's safe to say that the Nolan Ryan Expressway will be rather packed on Sunday afternoon and evening.
We better leave early.
Yeah. There's Nolan. His wife Ruth.
On the outside corner. Those two combined two of the greatest names in baseball history.
Oh, great line. You're right.
Count 0-2. Another strikeout for Garcia, who has struck out 5, allowed only 1 hit through 5. We're halfway through game 2. Cardinals coming up bottom of the order, coming to the plate, no score. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Thanks for making Chevrolet and baseball a part of America for the last 100 years. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV.
Absolutely.
Down below, this has been some pitcher's duel. Colby Lewis, Jaime Garcia. David Freese is first up. He promised those photos, but this game is flying by, and his at bat his first time didn't take long when he flied to center. He has now hit in 11 straight this postseason. It's just outside. 2-0. There he is playing for Pond here in this area. Saw the Johnny Mac's name on his back. Lafayette High School. Gets under this one.
Just missed it.
On 2-0, and he skies it to Hamilton and left. 1 out. We had pictures of him at Merrimack Community College and later on, but these at-bats just are going so quickly.
Oh, Joe, that's what happens too. Boy, you talk about squaring up on a ball. He just got under it. But that's what happens when a pitcher is throwing a 2-0 pitch instead of an 0-2 pitch.
There he is at Merrimack.
A young David Freese.
Yes. And here is Molina, who fouls it away. Strike one. David is 28 years old. And so far, Colby Lewis has retired him on a fly ball to center, 1 to left, and Lewis is matching Jaime Garcia as Molina waits for an 0-1.
Well, that's right there. Painted on the corner at the knees.
Lewis, by the way, will lead off for the Rangers in the 6th. To the right side, Kinsler gobbles it up and gets his man. 2 out. Our Geico in-game box score for the Cardinals, a lot of zeros. A lot of offers. The only hit belongs to Furcal with a 2-out double back in the 3rd. 2 other base runners. Berkman reached on an error. That could have been a hit. And a walk to Holiday. But a beautifully turned double play behind Colby Lewis last inning. On a ball hit by Matt Holiday. Here's Punto. In at the knees. Strike one. Cardinals in their 3rd World Series over the last 10 years. A franchise to accomplish that. Across baseball, they lost in 04 to the Red Sox in a 4-game sweep at the other Busch Stadium. Beat the Tigers in 06, the first year of this Busch Stadium. Here they are taking on the Rangers. Base hit, 2nd of the night for St. Louis as Punto is on. And that will bring Garcia to the plate.
0-2 mistake from Colby Lewis. He hangs a breaking ball. That's one of the few mistakes that Colby has made tonight. If nothing else, it serves as to clear the pitcher here in the bottom of the 5th, even though Jaime Garcia is not a weak-hitting pitcher, as you mentioned the last time up.
Doesn't have a hit during the postseason. Did hit a home run during the regular season. A among his 6 hits.
That was at Miller Park in Milwaukee on August 2nd. That's a big league cut right there. He can hit.
Strike one. Back to the DH when this series goes to Arlington for Saturday night. The weather's supposed to be nice
and warm. Balls will be flying in Arlington.
1-1 the count on Garcia. Fly to center his first time up. That's upstairs, 2-1. There have been 15 home runs hit by pitchers in World Series history. Last one was Joe Blanton back in 2008. Phillies won it all over Tampa Bay. That's ball 3.
And Colby Lewis using his slide step. There's no need to do that because Punto's going nowhere unless the count's 3-2. It's okay to stretch, lift your leg, take your time, and throw a good pitch. No slide step necessary.
A walk to Garcia. Brings to the plate for Kyle and brings to the mound Mike Maddox. For Kyle is a .333 hitter with runners in scoring position during his postseason career. He doubled his last time up. So this will be an interesting matchup. But for Kyle and Colby Lewis is trying to keep this thing scoreless through 5. Base hit by Punto, a walk to Garcia. And here is for Kyle, who's got some pop. He drove one deep into right center last night when he went 0 for 2. Very good pitch, called ball 1. Garcia, the runner at first, refused the jacket. And this cool night, upper 40s. Here's a 1-0. Strike 1.
Slight chance he'd hold him up, so make sure they hold him up.
A 1-1. Hard hit. What a play by Andrus. Flips for the out. And those two up the middle had a brilliant double play in the 4th. And this saves a run and ends the inning as he hits Kinsler in stride straight out of the glove. Unbelievable play by Elvis. Scoreless after 5 in game 2.
Aaron, you're all set.
Great, thanks. Mike, thanks for doing that discount double check. You saved us hundreds.
What was that? The discount double check? It's when we comb through your policies to make sure that you're getting all the discounts you deserve.
No, I get that part, but you guys are doing my move.
The discount double check move?
It's my touchdown dance.
So you're a dancer?
No, I'm a quarterback.
Oh, quarterback.
More.
I'm a robot. Get out of here.
Aaron Rodgers got his. How about you?
Rodgers! Discount double check!
Get to a better state. State Farm.
Boy, this has been some game. No score after 5, and we have seen tremendous defense behind Colby Lewis. He's pitched very well. But up the middle, that double play combination and that little flip for the out. By the way, Colby Lewis swings the bat well also. Of Elvis Andrus and Ian Kinsler, that's as good as you're going to see.
To end 2 consecutive innings about that for inning enders?
It'll be Lewis, then Kinsler, then Andrews, the two guys we talk about. Elvis isn't hitting much, but he is playing a good shortstop. Elvis has had the errors pile up the last couple of years, but he did not make an error. The last 33 games of the regular season, he made 25 during the regular year, 1 this postseason. That's strikeout number 6 for Garcia, 1 out in the 6th. And the World Series is sponsored by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Chevrolet. Thanks for making Chevrolet and baseball a part of America for the last 100 years. Here's Kinsler, who popped 32 home runs during the regular season, tied for 5th in the AL. Takes a strike. Ian is grounded out and walked. In off the hands and fouled, backing out of play, strike 2. Kinsler hit just .214 on the road during the regular season, but in the postseason, 14 games, he's hit 3 home runs, hitting .339. Away from Arlington during October, and that is another hit. And he's on base for the 2nd consecutive time. And it's time for the Nikon 1 replay cam, and we replay the double play that ended the 4th inning with a barehanded grab, and then in the 5th, straight out of the glove to save a run and end the inning as Kinsler beat Garcia to the base.
Yeah, keep in mind Kinsler was playing Rafael Furcal to pull, so he had a longer way to go to make the tag of the bag to end the inning.
1 on 1 out for Elvis Andrews. These guys now seeing Garcia for the 3rd time. That might be out at 2nd and out at 1st. Double play. The Cardinals turn 1. And they get the 2 guys who have played so well up the middle for the Rangers. Kinsler out at 2nd. And then Andrews out at 1st. No score after 5.5.
This could be the best year of your baseball life.
You watch every single game all season long right here on the couch?
Watch every game. Hang out with celebs. Meet star players. The 2012 MLB Fan Cave Dream Job. It can be yours. Apply now at MLBFanCave.com.
First pitch of the bottom of the 6th is a strike to John Jay. It'll be Jay, Pujols, and Berkman. Everybody gets on Holiday. Colby Lewis back to the hill. And Jay clumps one up the first baseline, foul, strike 2. Alexio Gondo is getting ready just because, well, just because Colby Lewis can't be pitching much better. He's been helped out by his middle infielders the last 2 innings.
I think it would make sense if you get a runner on at 3rd. If the Cardinals get a runner on at 3rd and less than 2 outs, Ron Washington may bring Ogando in to pitch to Matt Holliday and or David Freese. Try for the strikeout or the pop-up.
Here's the 0-2. Just inside, ball 1.
Meanwhile, by far the best start of the postseason from the Rangers starters in Colby Lewis. He's terrific.
Here's the 1-2. Jay into left center field, and that is Gentry on the move. Got a good jump, 1 out. It'll bring in Albert Pujols, who's 0 for 2.
You can see how Gentry is playing off the right shoulder of the pitchers. Very few center fielders, when they're straight away, will play behind the pitcher. The reason for that is they can't see the pitch. When you're off the shoulder, you see the pitch a lot better, and that gives you an extra step or 2.
Pujols. Ball one outside. Albert has hit 2 home runs this postseason. 15 in his postseason career. He's in his 7th postseason. This year broke that string as he almost reached 300 again with the average and 100 again in the RBI category. Here's the 2-0. 2-1. First time in 11 seasons that Pujols has failed to get to those lofty standards. That's foul. And it's 2-2.
Lewis staying away from Pujols, but Albert with great power the other way too. But that's good strategy. He's going to beat you, make him do it to right field. Or if he's going to get a big hit, make him do it the other way.
Got in on him, and Beltre to his left takes care of out number 2. And Pujols 0 for 3, and Colby Lewis just rolling right along.
This is smart pitching from Colby Lewis. He misses with a fastball and breaking ball and 2 good sliders. Now watch him come back inside. Well done.
And here is Berkman, who hit 28 of his 32 overall home runs from this side of the plate. He has won this postseason, 31 during the regular year. He hit his way to a new contract, $12 million next year, a 1-year deal. Trying to break this string. Still 1-2. Berkman was a part of the Astros back in '05 when the White Sox swept them right out of the World Series. So gets another try at the Fall Classic. Same with the guy hitting behind him, Matt Holliday, who, as I mentioned, was with Colorado in '07. 2-2. Off the hands. Will it stay in play?
No. A member of the White Sox in 2005, Jerry Reinsdorf's White Sox. And if you've noticed on our pregame show, AJ makes sure he wears that World Championship ring on his right hand where he holds the mic, and I don't blame him.
What a postseason that group had.
Oh my gosh.
Their rotation, they didn't even need to bring their bullpen to the ALCS. Berkman strikes out, and Colby Lewis has been fantastic. He has struck out 3. We played 6 scoreless in game number 2 here in St. Louis. Back after this from your local Fox station. Tonight's Volkswagen Passat trivia question. Mickey Mantle hit a record 18 World Series home runs. Off whom did he hit his final World Series home run? That brings a smile to your face, but it's not the greatest memory for you.
No, but
turned out okay.
Yeah, I called it. Called the wrong pitch again. Mickey would have been 80 years old today. October 20th, 18 World Series home run, the most ever. Mickey Charles Mantle from Commerce, Oklahoma, a huge Cardinal fan growing up.
Here's the 0-1. Hamilton jumping at that pitch, strike 2.
Joe, I had the privilege, and I mean privilege, of squatting behind Mickey in that '64 World Series, and the power that resonated from him was awesome.
Another strikeout for Garcia, number 7. And I don't think anybody expected this out of Jaime Garcia.
Nope, into the 7th inning with his shutout. 7 strikeouts, totally off balance is Josh Hamilton, and that is a real surprise. I don't think any guy from either lineup will be happy to get back to warmer weather more than Josh.
Here is Michael Young. Every strikeout, by the way, has been a swinging 3rd strike. These guys are trying to make contact, and Garcia keeps getting it by him.
Not a lot of hard hit balls tonight.
Punto to his right. 2 out. Geico in-game box score for Texas, and you can expect in a game like this a lot of zeros on this side. The only hits, a single by Kinsler. He's also walked, and a single by Michael Young. That's all. Now Adrian Beltre. Beltre hasn't seen Garcia very well at all tonight. He has struck out twice. He's missed some pitches by a lot.
Well, you talked about it early in the game that nobody in the starting lineup had ever faced Garcia, and they're swinging like it.
Hard hit, base hit. Beltre rides one under the glove of Furcal, and a nice play by Jay holds him to a 2-out single.
First hit of the night for Beltre. All the hits by the Rangers, singles. So now Beltre a 2-out runner.
And this Texas team is looking for their big guy to pop one. Nelson Cruz is struck out, popped up. The series will shift to Arlington on Saturday night as Lance Lynn gets loose, the hard-throwing right-hander. Here's Nelson Cruz, and that's ball 1 up and away. A Texas team that hits .294 as a group at home and scores just about 2 runs more per game at their home park than they do on the road. Garcia trying to pitch around a 2-out single. Cruz takes ball 2. Nelson Cruz missed time with a bad hamstring, still managed to hit 29 home runs. And now Molina will go out and try and help guide Garcia through this at bat.
Well, guide is a good word, because the one thing Garcia doesn't want to do is guide a fastball that sails inside. Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa, I'm sure, are thinking right now, don't try and challenge this guy again when he's looking fastball. Stay away.
And I think the visit was made for 2 reasons. 1, this at bat. 2, to get Lynn time to get ready with the right-handed hitting Napoli on deck.
Right.
Because as we saw, Lynn just started to throw. This tight game can turn with 1 swing. 2-1 over the outside part. Ball 3.
Good play by Molina. That's a tough play on the fastball, trying to scoop it up. And catchers anticipate breaking balls being in the dirt, but not this. Good play.
Even hit part of the plate.
Yeah.
So the count 3-1. Nelson Cruz, what does he have in store in game 2? Runner goes and a fly ball into right. Berkman is there, and that sends us to the 7th inning stretch, as Garcia has pitched 7 shutout innings. We're not through a full 7 innings yet, as Lewis will go back to work. But that bottom line, the last World Series game scoreless through 7 was in 05, Game 4, White Sox and Astros. And right now, for the introduction of God Bless America, here's John Hewlett.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of God Bless America. We are being led tonight by retired Navy Petty Officer First Class and national recording artist Generald Wilson.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
The World Series on Fox is sponsored by MasterCard, asking you to eat, drink, and be generous this fall, and by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. Matt Holliday first up for St. Louis in the bottom of the 7th. Freese and Yadier Molina will follow, and Colby Lewis, although he doesn't have the strikeouts of Garcia, which now is up to 7, has been outstanding. Drives Holliday off the plate with ball 1. Holliday has walked and bounced into a beautifully turned double play by Andrus and Kinsler. There's a strike. Rode him off the plate, then hit the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Strike 2. Gondo getting loose again in case something brews for the Cardinals here in the 7th. Strikeout starts the 7th as Napoli hung on to that foul tip. Our Get to a Better State recap brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. How about the defense last night by the Cardinals? Diving play by Carpenter for the 2nd out of the game. That sliding play by Pujols. And then tonight, the Rangers flashed some leather. And this one saved a run and ended the inning as Freese has now hit in 12 straight postseason games. A Cardinal record, and he is on with 1 out here in the 7th.
If there were nobody out, I think Tony La Russa in the scoreless game would pinch run for David Freese. But now Tony doesn't know whether he's going to be the hitter in the bottom of the 9th inning, so he's going to leave the bat in there and see what Yadier Molina does.
I thought you were going to go a different way and say you wonder how itchy Ron Washington is to pop out of that dugout and go to his bullpen.
Yeah, that's right. That's the other thing.
And that's only the 3rd Cardinal hit, but he's got a major weapon in Ogando as this ball is hit to left. Back is Hamilton, 2 out. And back to first is Freese with Punto coming up. It's a big out. And will allow Colby Lewis, you would think, to try and finish 7 innings.
Yeah, we talked last night about David Freese operations on both ankles, so he is not a fast runner at first base. Only 1 stolen base all year.
Meanwhile, Punto has hit only 1 home run all year, so all likelihood it would take more than just Punto to do something about the scoreboard. Strike 1. And each starter is trying to get through 7. In the 8th for Texas, it will be the bottom 3 in their lineup. Wouldn't Ron Washington love to get Colby Lewis through this 7th and then be able to pinch hit for him in the 8th? The 0-1. Strike 2.
Meanwhile, Tony La Russa has already made a decision, and Alan Craig is out in the on-deck circle. Lewis with the perfect strike to Punto.
You wonder if Punto makes it out here and they don't get to Alan Craig in the number 9 spot, if it's Garcia back out there for the 8th or Salas, who's getting ready in a hurry in case Craig pinch hits. For Jaime Garcia, who's still got his jacket on and seated in the dugout. That's off the glove of Young. And Freeze will turn and make it to 3rd. Punto 2 for 3 tonight. And we may have that same matchup we had last night. Alan Craig is coming up with Ogando ready in the bullpen.
Alan Craig won the battle last night. A 2-strike base hit as Punto grounds one off the heel of the glove of Michael Young. Puts Cardinal runners on at 1st and 3rd, and that's exactly what's going to happen, Joe.
So for the 2nd night in a row, it will be Alan Craig and Alexi Ogando with a game on the line. Colby Lewis was terrific. And I'm sure frustrated to come out here in the 7th, 1st and 3rd, 2 out. It's a rematch when we come back in the 7th inning of game 2. Alexi Ogando allowed the hit last night, a pinch hit RBI single to Alan Craig, which was the difference in the game.
A game the Cardinals won 3-2 on the RBI single to right field on a fastball by Alan Craig. In fact, all of Ogando's pitches last night were fastballs. We'll see if he goes to the slider here. Ooh, similar pitch.
When we talked to Ron Washington, he said he didn't use the slider. I could second guess that, but I won't. And then he said he got it by him up. But we know that Alan Craig likes fastballs down, and that's where Ogando went. And Alan Craig lined a base hit into right.
With the slider added to that possibility of a wild pitch.
And Craig is delivered again. In to score is Freeze, and the Cardinals score first. Alan Craig has done it to Ogando back-to-back nights. 1-0 in the 7th.
Frighteningly, these 2 pitches look about the same. That was last night. It gave the Cardinals the win 3-2. This is tonight to give the Cardinals a 1-run lead. Same pitch. Right above the knees, fastball, and another hit for Alan Craig. Are you kidding me?
And you can see where Napoli was set up high.
Yeah.
And Ogando just missed his spot and gets burned again. Now it's for Cobb. Strike 1. The Tigers couldn't touch Alexi Ogando in the ALCS. We don't know if the Cardinals can. We know that Alan Craig can. Taking fastballs thigh and knee high and driving base hits into right. Two on, two out in the 0-1. Last night, Alan Craig's go-ahead RBI in the 6th was the first by a pinch hitter in the World Series since Wade Boggs in Game 4 of '96. And Alan Craig has been a big RBI man in limited work. And the highest RBI rate per at bat on the team for St. Louis during the season. Here's a 1-1. Nasty pitch down and in. Strike 2.
That's that slider we were talking about. It can be very intimidating. Burkall missed it about 9 inches.
But again, Ogando did not throw that pitch right and give another look to Alan Craig. Credit Craig with being a disciplined hitter, going with the pitch into right.
As he did last night.
And he has learned from his hitting coach Mark McGuire as Furcal pulls it foul. Can't fault Ron Washington for going to Ogando.
Ever. Not with his arm. Ever.
You have to fault Ogando for not executing a pitch.
Well, if you find fault with that, or you could credit Alan Craig.
Absolutely.
2 nights in a row.
Which is what Ron Washington said. He said, I can second guess Ogando. And yeah, you can talk about pitch selection or location. But I choose to credit Alan Craig, and he'll have to do it again. Outside, 2-2.
Tony La Russa, on the other hand, telling us that Alan Craig is fearless in the batter's box. And he proved it again tonight.
Furcal chops it to Beltre, who gets the out. With Punto going out of the baseline. Punto with a big hit that set up Alan Craig. And for the 2nd consecutive game, Craig gets Ogando. The Cardinals take a late 1-run lead, and on the other side, Ron Washington hangs his head. Freese has scored the game's only run, and after 7 in Game 2, 1-0, St. Louis. Descalso takes over at third base. Freese is gone. Descalso hits 6th, and now Fernando Salas, who for a while was the Cardinal closer, takes over and gets one past the bat of Mike Napoli. We're into the 8th inning. 1-0 St. Louis, leading this best of 7 1-0. Napoli is lined out twice. Once to third, once to right. On the inside corner, strike 2. And now Mike Adams gets loose because Ogando is the 3rd scheduled hitter in this 8th. David Murphy on deck to bat for Gentry. Just outside, ball 1.
Tony La Russa calls Fernando Salas his most flexible reliever. You'll bring him in the 3rd as a long man, in the 5th, 6th, through the 9th. 24 saves on the year also.
Out in front of his Napoli, who fouls at 1 and 2. Sepchinski, who got 2 big strikeouts last night. He is getting loose with Murphy on deck. And a strikeout starts the 8th.
Now Salas got away with one. You could see Molina setting up outside, and that ball backs up right down the middle of the plate. That is a knuckle curveball. You could see that forefinger on top of the ball using the seams for that downward movement. But he got away with a hanger then.
And with Murphy coming up, it appears Zepchinski is coming in. Both the Cardinals and Rangers have averaged just over 5 pitchers per game this postseason. Zepchinski will be number 2 of the inning, number 3 on the night. Cardinals switch pitchers. Jenny O invites you to switch to Turkey as we play here in the 8th.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Here is Zepchinski, who's been getting better and better this postseason. Last night he came on and struck out 2 right-handed hitters with 2 on in the 7th. You got Gentry and then Herman. And now your Vitor Alba with 1 out, nobody on, will bat for David Murphy. So Murphy was announced, and he is erased on the scorecard. He's done for the night without an at bat. Torrealba, who so far this postseason is 4 for 12, was left on the bench last night, gets a chance to hit here in the 8th inning. Against the lefties, Zepchinski as Dotel gets loose for Tony La Russa in his bullpen.
What happens in the later innings is a manager tries to, as you look at Octavio Dotel, he tries to use 1 pitcher for 2 hitters, as La Russa did here. Both Murphy and Torrealba now in the game, and Torrealba can't play left field, so you could make a case that the Rangers will have to use 3 hitters in hopes of scoring 1 run.
Fastball is fouled off the end of the bat. Torrealba, who had good back-to-back games in the ALCS in games 3 and 4 in Detroit. That's in front of Mitch Moreland, who's on deck. Here comes the 0-1 with 1 out, nobody on. Strike 2 on the swing.
Changeup from Zepchinski.
Nickname Scrabble. A lot of letters and good stuff. Maybe a future starter. Former Blue Jay. Gets Torrealba 2 out. And now Moreland comes back, and Herman will walk to the plate.
That's that slider out of the strike zone. So Zepchinski has faced 3 Ranger hitters and struck them all out.
All right-handed.
Yeah. Again, the strategy here in the later innings is Tony La Russa hopes the Rangers run out of innings before he runs out of relievers.
The decision here is straightforward. La Russa's thinking, do I want Zepchinski against Herman, or do I want to bring in Dotel and have more of a home run threat and Moreland bat for Herman?
Right.
He'll stay with Zepchinski. Zepchinski struck him out last night with 2 on. And now a ground ball to first, and this Cardinal bullpen has been sensational in the month of October, and nobody has been bigger than number 34, traded here from Toronto in July. 1-0 in the bottom of the 8th.
0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Tommy, T-H-O.
Cece, glad you made it. Ricky wins again.
Oh, what is this place?
Iowa, only with maximum Pepsi taste and 0 calories.
Whoa.
I love it when he does that. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball.
The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Audi, Truth in Engineering, and by Jenny O. Make the switch. Look for Jenny O Turkey at a store near you. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Changes defensively for Texas in the bottom of the 8th. Andy Chavez is in center, where Craig Gentry was batting in the 8th spot. It had 4 people in that 8th spot here in the last 10 minutes. And pitching and batting 9th is Mike Adams. John Jay first up. And he flies one into center for Chavez to his left. 1 pitch, 1 out. And this replay brought to you by Happy Feet 2. Every step counts. And taking happy steps down to first or happy steps to the plate. Craig with the hit, Freese with the run. And David Freese is the first player in World Series history to have go-ahead RBI pinch hit base hits, and he did it in his first 2 at-bats. Alan Craig.
Think about that.
Here's Pujols.
I mean, if the series were over after this game and the Cardinals maintained their 1-run lead, he would be the MVP without having started.
He will start when this series goes to Texas.
Right.
As either a DH or as the outfielder with Holiday DH.
I would think as a DH.
Here is a 1-0 to Pujols. That is slashed down into the corner foul. Once again, tonight's Volkswagen Passat trivia question. Mickey Mantle hit a record 18 World Series home runs. Off whom did he hit his final World Series home run? Bob Gibson in Game 7 of the '64 World Series. 3-run shot in the 6th. A pitch you never caught.
Tailing fastball, hit it to left center, a 3-run shot.
Here is a 1-1 to Pujols. And that's well hit into right. At the wall, this ball is caught by Nelson Cruz with his back up against that fence. 2 out.
A middle of the plate slider drives Cruz all the way to the fence. That ball missed about a foot from going out. Good play by Nelly Cruz.
And that keeps it 1-0 with 2 out here in the 8th.
Cold weather.
And with the bases empty, here is Lance Berkman 0 for 3. The Rangers will have the top of their lineup against Jason Mott in the 9th. Kinsler, Andrus, and Hamilton. If anybody gets on, Michael Young. Strike 1 on Berkman. So again, Alan Craig, in the history of the World Series, and he's done it in his only 2 at-bats, his first 2. Becomes the first to have go-ahead successful pinch hit base hits for RBIs. World Series history. Here is the 0-1 to Berkman. Down and in. He got that record out of the way in a hurry. It's just in the same series, not back-to-back games or anything, and that's what he's done. Off the same pitcher.
Off the same pitch. In the same area. Same neighborhood.
Mike Adams ready with a 1-1 to Berkman. Ball 2. The starter for the Cardinals, the pitcher of record, the same for the Rangers. Lewis is on the hook for the loss. As Ogando allowed an inherited runner to score on that hit by Alan Craig. The 2-1. 2-2.
Let it go.
Adams digging at that mat to get the dirt out of his spikes. Traded to Texas from San Diego at the end of July. Part of that good bullpen for Ron Washington. Here's a 2-2. Kinsler can't make the play to his left. And the bottom of the 8th inning continues on a base hit by Berkman.
I don't think Kinsler had a good jump on this ball. He may not have seen it off the bat, and it goes under his glove. Ball hit very hard.
When this series resumes after a travel day tomorrow, Saturday night, it'll be Matt Harrison, the hard-throwing left-hander, against Kyle Loesch. And then Holland and Edwin Jackson in Game 4. That's the plan as of right now. Ball 1 just low to Matt Holliday. And that is Saturday night right here on Fox, on the air at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific.
What a riveting game.
2 of them.
Yep.
Berkman with a small lead. Berkman 2 steals during the regular season, was caught 6 times. He was 2 for 8. He's 2 for 2 this postseason. Stays put. It's just low again. 2-0. Remember, Freeze is out of there for defensive reasons, and Descalso is on deck. Holiday, 23 home runs this season. Takes on the inside corner, 2-1. The outside corner, good pitch, 2-2.
You hear that expression a lot, perfect pitch. Nobody's going to hit that pitch. Nobody.
Ball 3, and Berkman will get a head start at first.
That's why that 2-2 pitch with 2 outs and a runner at first is a key pitch, because if the pitcher misses, then the runner at first is running on the play and he can score on a short double, long single.
There goes Berkman on ball 4. Second time Holiday has walked tonight, and Mike Maddox will come out and talk, maybe go over the scouting report on Daniel Descalso, who so far this postseason is 1 for 6.
You know, I think, Joe, as much or more than a scouting report, I think a pitching coach would go to a pitcher in this situation and say, stick with your strength. For instance, if Mike Adams is a low ball pitcher and the hitter is a low ball hitter, go with your low pitch, go with your sinker, go with your slider. Stick with your strength, even though it might be the hitter's strength. But remember all the time that he's a defensive replacement. And if he was that good a hitter, he would have started tonight.
Descalso did have a knack for having some big hits after the 7th inning early in the season. He is up there with 2 on, 2 out, trying to add to a 1-0 8th inning lead. A hit, then a walk with 2 out. Strike 1. Big swing by Descalso. The Cardinals came in with a disadvantage matching the 2 bullpens. They came into this World Series with an advantage with their bench.
No question.
With players like Schumacher, who was the regular second baseman during the regular season, Terrio, who was the starting shortstop every day for the first half. Alan Craig, you know what he can do. Descalso can play all over. Two on, 2 out. To the right side. Kinsler makes the pickup. A nice play to end the inning. And that sets it up for the ninth. Jason Mott is getting ready for the top of the order. Kinsler, Andrews, Hamilton coming up. St. Louis up by 1. Skip Schumacher takes over in right for Berkman, so the Cardinals add to their defense. Schumacher bats 9th, and Jason Mott takes over. Top of the order. Ian Kinsler spins away from ball 1 inside. The Cardinals, who are playing in their 18th World Series, are playing in their 107th postseason game in franchise history. They have never been involved in a 1-0 game. As that fastball hits the inside corner, it's a 1-1 count. Again, good work by Zepchinski. Strike 2. Jason Mott, who got his first save as it had a revolving door at closer in St. Louis this year. First save August 28th, is 14 of 15 since that day.
It's small solace to Ranger hitters that Jason Mott does not have an off-speed pitch. So far, he doesn't need one.
That's ball 2. The 2-2. Off the end of the bat into shallow left. Out goes for Kyle, and it's a base hit. Good start to this 9th inning for Texas. And Kinsler is on base for the 3rd consecutive time.
Joe, this is where you get burned with that no doubles defense. Normally, if the outfielders were playing normal depth, Holiday catches this ball, but a no doubles defense, the outfielders play about 5 steps deeper than they normally would, and that allows for hits like this.
Tying run is on with nobody out. And now we'll see how the Rangers want to play it with Elvis Andrus at the plate. Shows bunt takes the ball.
Normally, when you're on the road, you don't bunt to tie. However, the Rangers bullpen has been so good during the postseason. That's why Ron Washington has opted to bunt. And if Kinsler can score, they'll tie the game.
Elvis Andrus 0 for 3 tonight. 0 for 6 in this World Series. There's a strike. Neftali Feliz, the closer. Darren Oliver, the lefty, getting loose for Texas in their pen. Arthur Rhodes gets loose. There goes Kinsler. Throw by Molina. Safe. And Kinsler with a huge stolen base for the Rangers.
Because of a huge jump. He had a big stolen base against Detroit in the LCS. And a huge jump, a great pitch for Yadier Molina to handle. Sliding to the outside of the bag for call with that sweep tag. And Kinsler is in there.
And a good call by Ron Kolpa, the second base umpire.
Right. Molina did what he could. He had a good pitch to handle. And that transfer was perfect, but too good a jump for Kinsler. Knowing that most short relievers do not have good moves to first base. Just in there.
Runner at second, the tying run, nobody out here in the ninth. And it's still 1-2 on Elvis Andrus. Elvis drove home 60 runs during the regular season. Josh Hamilton on deck. Inside, 2-2. Remember, if this game goes to extra innings, Cardinals have a couple of big bats no longer in their lineup, Freese and Perkins.
Tony La Russa just moving center fielder John Jay about 3 steps into right center field.
That's foul.
About Skip Schumacher, he's a defensive replacement. Hard to know as a defensive replacement. It's your first time you played these hitters, and it's tough to know where you exactly should be in the outfield.
You think he's too deep, don't you?
I do, and I think he should be over toward the right field line a little more. I think Andrus is going to hit the ball to right field.
Here comes a 2-2. In the air to center, a base hit. They will hold Kinsler at third. And down to second on that throw is Andrus, nobody out. Second and third. And Elvis Andrus with the biggest hit of this series.
That should be an error on Albert Pujols because he actually ticked the ball. The relay throw, John Jay, again, that's why La Russa moved him into right center. The ball hits the glove of Pujols, barely, I believe. Yes. And the throw by Molina to second. Great base running by Andrus, takes a wide turn, continues when he saw the ball get through, and now it's second and third and nobody out for the Rangers.
They call it a straight single. They have not put an error on the end of that play. And it's second and third, nobody out.
Excuse me, Joe. I think it's an error only because Pujols diverted the throw with just barely. Great hitting by Andrews. Kinsler with nobody out. I think that ball just off the glove of Pujols, and had the ball not been off his glove, I think Molina has a clear shot at Andrews at second base.
But odd that Pujols would miss that altogether, pretty much.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Second and third, nobody out, and Hamilton at the plate. Well, here's a guy, Josh Hamilton, who was 0 for 7 in this World Series. Last year's American League MVP. Playing with a sore left groin, and Tony La Russa is going to come out of the dugout and may make a change right here. He's got Rhodes in the bullpen for a reason.
To pitch to one hitter, and that's Hamilton.
But he has not made the call to the pen yet.
The alternative would be to walk Hamilton, go for the strikeout on Michael Young. Now I think Tony is going to allow the home plate umpire to come out to the mound and make him make a move, or either leave Mott in there.
And he's going to go to Rhodes.
Right.
So Mott is knocked out on a base hit by Kinsler, a stolen base. And then Elvis Andrus with a huge hit into right center, took second on the throw. And the Rangers are in business here in the ninth. Rhodes coming in. Well, here is Arthur Rhodes, who has put together these numbers over 6 games. He's got one job, but so does Josh Hamilton. Hamilton's job is to tie it or give the Rangers their first lead of the night. And he rips one into right. That'll tie the ball game. Tagging and scoring is Kinsler. Throw to third too late. And it's a 1-1 game with a go-ahead run at third, 1 out on a sac fly by Josh Hamilton. And now with Michael Young coming up, we should have yet another pitching change.
After a visit to the mound by Molina, Hamilton does 2 things with one swing. He drives in the tying run and moves the go-ahead run to third base with 1 out. But that shows you the importance of the cutoff man, Albert Pujols, on that throw from center fielder John Jay, and allowing Elvis Andrus to get to second base.
And now Elvis is 90 feet away. Lance Lynn coming in. Michael Young coming up. What a game here in game 2. Lance Lynn takes over. Go-ahead run at third, 1 out here in the 9th inning for Michael Young. Infield comes in on ball 1. Down and away. Lance Lynn was just rounding into a dependable reliever for Tony La Russa, almost a closer, and he strained his left oblique. That injury again, and he was on the 60-day DL, which expired right before the NLCS started. That's inside. He thought his season was over. And instead, the Cardinals advanced take on Milwaukee, and Lynn became a part of the bullpen.
Lance missing the last 46 games of the regular season.
He's behind on the count to Michael Young, who could put the Rangers on top. And it's 3-0 with Beltre on deck. Back-to-back hits by Kinsler and Andrus. Big stolen base in there by Ian Kinsler. Good base running by Andrus in this inning, and a 3-0 is on the outside corner. He hasn't given Michael Young the good fastball yet.
A 3-0 slider for a strike.
Young 1 for 3 tonight. 7 RBIs this postseason. And it's a full count. Here is a 3-2. And a fly ball into right center field is going to put Texas on top for the first time tonight. Young delivers a sac fly, and it's 2-1 Rangers in the ninth. And Elvis Andrus with a big ninth inning here for the Rangers.
You talked about the Kinsler stolen base, the excellent base running by Andrus, and Texas takes their first lead of the World Series.
And that means that Oliver sits down in the bullpen and Neftali Feliz gets loose. Here is Adrian Beltre. The slider misses down and away. The Cardinals will have Molina, Punto, and Schumacher in the bottom of this inning.
Michael Young could not have hit that slider for a sac fly without looking for it.
That's the third. Descalso makes the play, and that sends game 2 into the bottom of the ninth inning. The Rangers come up with their first runs of the night. They're charged to Mott, and as the Cardinals bat, they trail by 1. Neftali Feliz will try and save it, end this night, and send this World Series 1 game apiece back to Texas.
This will give you an idea, perhaps, of what Albert Pujols was thinking when Ian Kinsler rounded the bag at third base. Watch the third base coach, Dave Anderson, go up with the hands. Kinsler, however, runs through the bag as though he was going to score. I think perhaps Pujols' attention was diverted. He touched the ball enough to where Molina did not have a clean shot of Andrus at second base. And that was the key to scoring 2 runs in that inning and not 1.
Andrus with good base running.
Excellent.
And he scored on the sac fly by Michael Young. Now Yadier Molina starting the bottom of the ninth. Ball 1 high from Feliz, who hits 100 on the radar gun. We talked to Ron Washington, the manager of the Rangers, before the game about the layoff for Feliz, how he's done with a few days off. And he said, I expect him to be right in the strike zone. Something he's been better with the last month of the season. He's behind 2-0. Molina with a career-high 14 home runs during the regular season. Takes ball 3 outside. Molina will take on 3-0. 3-1. Punto will follow, and then Schumacher. 2-1 Texas. And a leadoff walk handed out by Feliz.
Now, do you pinch run Ryan Theriot and get yourself down to 1 catcher? And I think the answer to that is Gerald Laird, who is a fast runner for a catcher. So Tony La Russa does not waste a runner by using Theriot, and then if they do tie it, having Laird come in for defense. And Punto obviously will be trying to bunt.
Cardinals have only Theriot left on their bench. Tying run at first with nobody out. And that's bunted back to the backstop. Strike 1. Upper 90s fastball exploding out of the hand of Feliz. That can't be fun to try and turn around and bunt.
Yeah, what you have to try to do is to hold the bat at the top of the strike zone and don't try to bunt it unless the ball's under the bat. If you do, you'll pop it up. Jose Oquendo, I know, is telling Punto, make him be down in the strike zone.
Jared Laird, the tying run at first, nobody out, and an 0-1 count on Nick Punto, who has 2 hits. And that's foul, strike 2. Cardinals won last night 3-2. Rangers lead tonight 2-1. Punto strikes out on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. He did not advance the runner.
Yeah, against Feliz, if you don't get the bunt down and he has 2 strikes on you, it's over.
And I don't believe Feliz threw Punto a strike in that at bat.
No, good point. 3 high fastballs. Maybe the second pitch was down enough, but I don't think so. Probably outside.
And now Schumacher is first at bat. Hit .283 during the regular season, 2 homers. That's foul. Way high at 98. Ball and a strike. Schumacher batting in the number 9 spot for Kyle on deck. Pujols missed that throw from Jay. That allowed the go-ahead run to get into scoring position. A 1-1. Inside, 98 ball 2.
Pretty clear that for Cardinal hitters to make good contact against Feliz, the ball's got to be down in the strike zone. He'll get a fastball, but if it's up, you're just not going to get on top of it.
Here's a 2-1. Late swing and a miss, 2-2.
Better pitch to hit. Feliz, a tough assignment.
Only 23 years old. Here's 2-2. Foul back to the screen in a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. The Rangers here tonight are trying to become the first team since the 2001 Diamondbacks to come back and win a World Series game when trailing after 8. They did that in Game 7 against Mariano Rivera. That was for the World Series. There's out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts after the walk. It will be up to Rafael Furcal.
What a play by Mike Napoli. We talked about a low fastball. I'll tell you, that ball gets by a lot of catchers. Even though you're expecting the fastball, you don't know how hard it's going to be.
Cardinals are down to their final out. Cardinals have had only one walk-off World Series win in franchise history as they play in their 18th. Rangers with 2 in the ninth. Sac flies by Hamilton and Young. For Cowell, strike 1. For Cowell in 50 games during the regular season when he came to the Cardinals, hit 7 home runs. He's added 1 more here in the postseason. Here's the 0-1. Strike 2 and a big swing by Furcal. Now Feliz is 1 strike away from striking out the side.
That's how hitters get in the hole against Feliz. Those foul balls are strikes, obviously. They make contact, but rarely hard.
Here's the 0-2 outside. Pitcher of record is Mott. On the other side, Mike Adams. Time called by Furcal.
Sometimes a catcher will encourage his pitcher just to shake for effect. He's thrown so many fastballs in a row. He wants the hitter to think he's going to throw something else.
Inside, 2-2. And now the next. Furcal hits it in the air to right. Here is Nelson Cruz. And a comeback win for the Texas Rangers as they tie this best-of-7 series at a game apiece. Feliz gets the save, and the Rangers win the battle of the bullpens here tonight. Mott suffers the loss, and Mike Adams, a pickup from San Diego at the deadline, gets the win for the Texas Rangers.
And Joe, we talked so much about these Rangers during the LCS and the World Series being the complete team. 10 years ago, all the Rangers could do was hit, but now they can run the bases, and what a weapon that was tonight. Just brilliant base running by Ian Kinsler and Elvis Andrus, coupled with what they did defensively.
They really played well up the middle all night.
Oh, man.
And then combined with their bats and their legs to get Ron Washington a win in this World Series. The best plays of tonight's game brought to you by the Audi A8. True greatness should never go unrecognized. And that keystone combination of Kinsler and Andrus combined to get the win on sac flies by Hamilton and Michael Young, and a final of 2-1. Let's go down to the field and Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Josh, last night Arthur Rhodes got you on a 3-2 slider. What was your approach against him tonight when you got the go-ahead sac fly?
Even if it wasn't him, it was not try to do too much. You know, I got a guy on second, third, no outs. You don't try to do too much. Try to put the barrel on the ball, and you know, caught it off the end a little bit. It'd been nice to hit it in the sweet spot, though.
You guys were 3 outs away from going down 2 games to none in this series. Yeah. How difficult would that have been had that happened?
It'd have been hard, you know, but we'd have been comfortable going back to our place, having 3 games. But you know, it's they're just like we are. Never say die to the last out's made, so it makes it fun.
You told me before the game that you were trying not to use your legs as much. How did that work out, and how much are you looking forward to the warmer weather in Texas?
Yeah, it was off and on. First couple of bats, did what I wanted to. Third at bat, I struck out on. I was trying to hit it a mile. but then that last at bat, it was just take the hands to the ball, and absolutely looking forward to warmer weather.
Josh, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Joe, back to you.
He is a great spokesperson for the Rangers organization, as is the other guy, the man who got the game-winning RBI, Michael Young. There's your final in Game 2. Cardinals stranded 9 runners tonight, and Texas gets the win. Chevy postgame coming up next.